For those of you that love talking about animals, from Sci News, Laincapal Laitucada, new sauropod dinosaur discovered in Argentina. Paleontologists led by Dr. Pablo Galina of Conquet in Buenos Aires have discovered a new sauropod dinosaur that lived in what is now Argentina during the early Cretaceous period between 146 and 100 million years ago. And now, from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. Welcome to Creature Guide Live Prehistoric News. And let's dive right back into the prehistoric news of the day. So we don't know when precisely during the early Cretaceous this animal roamed, considering it just mentioned the whole early Cretaceous section. Now, technically, 146 million years ago was the late Jurassic, the very last moments, not the early Cretaceous. Anyway, let's see. So it looks like here we have a couple of members of the Allosaur family fighting some diplodocid in a conifer forest.
That artwork's actually signed.
Hmm? Oh, yeah, it is. Interesting. So this, I guess, was written in or drawn in the same year. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I like how it's they're making this Diplodocus that doesn't seem much larger than these allosaurs having immense power. Whereas, anyway, this long-necked herbivorous creature has been named Lancupol laitucada. The generic name Lancupol is derived from the Mapudungun, the language of the Mapuche Native American nation that inhabits northwestern Patagonia. Words line meaning vanishing and kupol meaning family. Family. Okay, well that's interesting. This sauropod sounds like a ghost. I mean, technically they are ghosts, but they have been ghosts for over 100 million years. This sauropod. Anyway, the species name Laticauda is derived from the Latin words lati, wide, and cauda, tail, referring to the dinosaur's broad tail, evidenced by the lateral extrusion of the transverse processes in proximal caudal vertebrae. So, I'm going to read a bit further before I comment a bit. Lycopola leticadae belongs to the family Diplodocidae, a group of sauropod dinosaurs recorded in late Jurassic strata from North America, Europe, Africa, and well known for their large bodies as well as extremely long necks and tails. So, by the looks of the picture, I was guessing that this was a member of the Diplodocid family, and apparently it is. It did mention though that the Diplodocid family is just from the late Jurassic, and they would cling on until the late Cretaceous, somewhere around 92 million years ago, and then mysteriously vanish. So, in fact, they became quite successful in different parts of South America. They even reached Africa. They weren't very large, I'd say, by the middle Cretaceous period, around 102 million years ago. You would have a specific family of sauropod dinosaurs called the Dicryosauridae family that would branch into a wide variety of sauropods that didn't reach much more than 50 feet in length. Now, this is a close relative of the Dicryosaurs. This is a member of the Saltosauridae lineage of diplodocid dinosaurs. Oh, not necessarily diplodocids. It's a different branch of actually um, Titanosaur. So this is Saltosaurus, which could reach a length of somewhere around 40 to 45 feet and lived in Argentina around 70 million years ago. And most likely came into contact with different species of predators such as the abelisaurs and the megaraptors that inhabited the region. But the allosaurs that it's showing, I'm going to go back to the article that it's showing here. I don't know who this would be. It says smaller carnivorous dinosaurs. He's unless that's a young Lancupol. These are um, huge. Anyway, where was I getting at? The Allosaurs would have reached extinction somewhere around 95 million years ago. And mysteriously went extinct at that time, just at the same time as we see the Spinosaurs go extinct as well. So here, I think this is a drawing from the either the 90s or the early 2000s. It's supposed to replicate a sauropod herd being next to their nests. I'm guessing during the dry season, there seems to be some carnivore in the outskirts. I don't know who that's supposed to represent. That's not a belly sore. It's kind of it has a bit of a carcharodontosaur sort of look. but there wouldn't have been any carcharodontosaurs at this point. So, let's see. Saltosaurus could also reach somewhere around 9 to 11 tons. So it was a medium-sized sauropod. Um, let's see. Anyway, let's head back to the article. Okay, so according to a paper published in the Open Access Journal Plus One, Lyncupol lactucaudae is the first diplodocid discovered in South America, the second confirmed diplodocid for the ancient continent Gondwana, and the youngest record of diplodocidae in the world. Youngest. Okay. Wow. So that would make sense. Now we still don't know specifically how young this is, and by young, it means how much later into the period the animal was discovered. So, let's say a Saltosaurus. It was found 70 million years ago, as opposed to let's say Paralititan from Cretaceous Africa was found about 97 million years ago. So the Saltosaurus is a younger sauropod and the Paralititan is older. But this individual, at some point in the early Cretaceous, but that is interesting. There are many species of Diplodocid that are known from the late Jurassic, and many also from North America itself, like Diplodocus. So interesting. It was only the second confirmed Diplodocid. Its fossil bones are found in Bajada Colorado Formation in Neuquén Province in Patagonia, Argentina. Here are some of the caudal vertebrae. Well, they look very well preserved. I'm guessing this is one of those sauropods that unfortunately only a few fragments were discovered of the skeleton. This is very common with new species of dinosaurs, a wide variety of larger predators, even the smaller individuals. You would think that because of a 3 foot long theropod, it would quickly be covered in sediment and be well preserved. In many instances, only a few fragments are found. Though with the smaller theropods, they tend to have a certain amount of the skull preserved, but several times where much of it is chipped. Let's go back to somebody else. So this is an animal that inhabited Africa, especially Egypt, around 97 million years ago, and it did coexist with Spinosaurus during the beginning of the late Cretaceous period. This is Carcharodontosaurus, which is a very late cousin of the late Jurassic Allosaurus, but it belongs to a different family of the Allosauroideae lineage, specifically the Carcharodontosaurus. This is actually a model from the show Monsters Resurrected back in the early 2000s. And despite how it was portrayed, the overall physique of this animal actually looks relatively good. I would just add more muscle to the neck. This is very thin. This is like what we were seeing with those different Allosaurus specimens. And I would make a bit larger of an arm. But besides that, it's really not a bad reconstruction. Now, this is definitely a very good looking face right here.
Why does that other one look thinner than
Here,
the
the skull like itself.
yeah.
Carcharodontosaurus, when it came to even the Allosaur lineage in general, did not score a very heavily built skull. It's really even actually this is what's nice about even this model. When you look at the teeth, you can tell that they're much thinner compared to different species of tyrannosaur, or even a belly sword, even certain species of raptors.
No, I mean,
Um,
are you saying it's the angle then?
Somewhat, Carcharodontosaurus also just has a very thin and narrow shape, despite having a skull of over 5 feet in length. T Rex has a skull that reaches about 4.5 feet in length, but it's very robust, so it looks much bigger, despite the length. Whereas Carcharodontosaurus, it needs that extra length to have some um, just intimidating appearance. Now, also, like which is it's a very distinct allosaur feature is that this animal would have had much more peripheral vision, so seeing out to the side a lot more behind it, as opposed to the different species of raptors and tyrannosaurs and having much more forward-facing binocular vision. And this animal would have likely hunted different species of sauropod back in 97 million-year-old Egypt, as well as different parts of Morocco, Niger. This animal dominated northern Africa, as well as to the sub Saharan regions. This is supposed to represent the 40-ton Titan. These sauropods could reach over 75 feet in length and probably one of the main food sources for crocodile. This is from the show Planet Dinosaur. Now, the overall reconstruction seems okay with this animal. For some reason, documentaries were giving Carcharodontosaurus a thin neck, which is odd, despite you could say the low bite force for the Carcharodontosaur. This animal could reach over 43 feet in length and weigh up to around 8 tons. So, despite being longer than T Rex, it weighed much less because it wasn't as heavily built. It should have a much thicker neck. Anyway, back to the article. Though the bones are fragmentary, Dr. Galena and his colleagues have found differences between Lancumpo lenticata and other diplodocid species from North America and Africa in the vertebrae where the tail connects to the body. The paleontologists estimate that Lancumpo lenticata could reach 9 meters long, it's around 30 feet in length. Um, this is definitely a smaller species of sauropod, even smaller than certain species of the saltosaurs as well as the other diacryosaurs. See, since Lancupal lexicata apparently lived much later than its North American and African cousins, its existence suggests that the supposed extinction of the Diplodocidae um, family around the end of the Jurassic or beginning of the Cretaceous didn't occur globally, but that the clade survived in South America at least during parts of the early Cretaceous. Yeah, that's what we tend to see, especially with other species that have popped up lately. But this is a very interesting individual. Now, last animal. So this is not a crocodile, but it is a relative of the Crocodilomorphia lineage of reptiles. And this is specifically a member of the Phytosaur lineage. This is Rudiodon, which inhabited North Carolina around 230 million years ago. And despite it looking like it's small, it's not. This animal could reach over 23 feet in length and probably weigh somewhere around 2,300 pounds or a little over 1,000 kilograms. I guess when in terms of the feet, around 7 meters. And this would have fed on probably different species of fish in the rivers that inhabited within the southeastern United States, as well as some of the first or some of the earlier archosaurs, some of the first dinosaurs in the region. They were fairly small. It's not hitting me what type of an archosaur this might be, or it's a distinct family of reptile because there were a wide variety of early reptiles in the early Triassic that had a similar look to the archosaurs or even early dinosaurs, but they weren't. So, let me know what your favorite species of long necked sauropod is. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guide Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you love talking about animals, and share this show with everyone you know, because nothing is better than all animals all the time.